Hey everyone and welcome. So, I want you to think about something for a second. Have you ever considered that the absolute best scientists on this planet might not be human at all? Today we are diving headfirst into a world where biology and pure genius just completely blur together. We're going to uncover some of nature's most brilliant and, honestly, most overlooked scientific minds.
You know, we usually think of science as this uniquely human thing, right? We picture labs and equations, people in white coats. But the thing is, the natural world is absolutely packed with creatures who have mastered physics, chemistry, and engineering in ways that would make our top human scientists green with envy.
And the inspiration for this whole explainer comes from an absolutely fantastic book called Clever Creatures by Steve Mould. It's all about how animals and plants use science to survive in some of the most ingenious ways imaginable.
And look, this isn't just about simple instinct. No, we're talking about applied science, something that's been perfected and honed over millions and millions of years of evolution.
So how in the world did they get so smart? Well, the answer is evolution. You can think of it as the ultimate research and development lab. I mean, through countless generations of trial and error, life has basically engineered organisms that have solved some of the most complex problems you could ever think of, and it's all in the name of survival.
All right, first up, let's talk about the physicists. These are the creatures that have figured out how to manipulate the fundamental forces of the universe to their advantage, often in ways that seem to, well, completely defy logic.
And here's our first master, the pond skater. This little guy performs a feat that looks almost miraculous. It literally walks on water. But this isn't magic, not at all. It's pure physics. The insect treats the water's surface less like a liquid and more like a stretchy, bouncy trampoline.
So how's that possible? It's all because of a principle called surface tension. See, the water molecules right at the surface, they don't have anything above them, so they just cling extra tightly to their neighbors on all sides. This creates this kind of elastic film or a skin that's just strong enough for this super lightweight pond skater and its specially adapted waxy feet to stand on without ever breaking through.
But you know, not all of nature's physicists are quite so gentle. Some of them are, well, they're incredibly destructive. They pack a serious punch.
I want you to meet the peacock mantis shrimp. This thing is a brilliant feat of physics. Instead of just relying on muscle power, it does something amazing. It pulls back its club-like arm, locking it in place, and bending a part of its own shell, just like a bow, to store a massive amount of elastic energy.
And when it finally releases that lock, oh man, the arm just explodes forward with the speed of a fired bullet. The acceleration is so extreme, it actually rips the water apart, creating these tiny low-pressure bubbles. They're called cavitation bubbles. And when those bubbles collapse, they release a second shock wave, a flash of light and a bang that helps obliterate its victim's shell. It's absolutely incredible.
Okay, so from pure brute force, let's shift gears a little bit and talk about the physics of waves. Specifically, how some creatures have become absolute masters of light and sound to communicate and just see the world around them.
First up, the chameleon. Now, there's a huge misconception out there that they change color just to blend in. And while, yeah, their resting green color is pretty great camouflage, those really dramatic, fast color shifts, they're not for hiding. They're for shouting. Bright colors can be a sign of aggression, kind of like, get away from me, while duller tones might mean, okay, I give up. It's a whole visual language.
And the secret isn't pigment. It's all structural. It's physics. Under their skin, chameleons have this layer of tiny, mirror-like crystals. And by actively changing the spacing between these crystals, they can control which color of light gets reflected back. When they're packed tight, they reflect blue. When they're spaced out, they reflect red. It's a living light show, and it is pure genius.
Okay, so from the masters of light, let's turn to the masters of sound. For nocturnal hunters like bats, sight is basically useless, so they face this incredible challenge of how to see in a world of total, absolute darkness.
Their solution is something called echolocation. A bat sends out these super high-frequency clicks, and then its large, incredibly sensitive ears listen for the echoes that bounce back. By interpreting the timing and the direction of those echoes, it builds this detailed three-dimensional sound map of everything around it. This lets it pinpoint a tiny little moth in midair, in complete darkness.
Now, this mastery of science isn't just limited to physics. Oh no. Next, we're going to meet nature's engineers, the masters of structure, design, and efficiency who can achieve wonders with something as simple as a fold. Take a look at this. This is a hornbeam leaf, and it faces a classic engineering problem. How do you pack a large, flat solar panel, which is really what a leaf is, into an incredibly tiny, protected space like a winter bud? The answer is this precise, perfect pattern of concertina-like folds.
And this elegant solution to a really complex packaging problem? You guessed it, we humans noticed.
This is a perfect example of something called biomimicry. The hornbeam leaf's folding pattern is remarkably similar to something called the Mura fold. It's an origami technique that engineers use to deploy large solar arrays on satellites. That's right, we literally look to the trees to figure out how to go to space. How cool is that?
And for our final section, we are entering the lab of nature's chemists. In this world, survival depends on creating the absolute perfect chemical concoction, whether it's for defense, attraction, or just pure deception.
I want you to consider the sheer desperation and, honestly, the brilliance of the corpse flower. It only blooms for a few days every few years. That's a tiny window to get pollinated. And its pollinators aren't bees looking for sweet nectar. Nope, they're carrion beetles, looking for a dead animal to lay their eggs in. So the flower's solution is this masterful chemical trick. It produces a cocktail of chemicals that perfectly mimics the smell of rotting flesh. It even heats itself up to body temperature to help that smell spread far and wide.
And the beetles? They are completely fooled. They fly in, crawl around looking for a place to lay their eggs, and in the process, they inadvertently pollinate the flower. It is a disgusting, but you have to admit, an undeniably brilliant strategy for survival.
And that really brings us to our final thought here. From a shrimp that can boil water with its fist to a flower that literally mimics death, nature is the ultimate laboratory. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other incredible scientific principles are being demonstrated by the plants and insects right in your own backyard, just waiting for a curious mind to notice?